I welcome you all to this webinar, Your Access to Fulfilling Dream Future for Your Child. This is going to be an hour webinar and it may extend if there are some questions. Just a bit part of logistics. Isme, you can see a hand raise. So if you want to ask a question while I'm explaining, you can just click on this so that I'll come back to you as soon as I complete my sentence. You can also share in the chat box. So if it would be a question or an answer, you would chat it in the chat box. This is going to be an interactive session, so there will be many times where I will pause to ask you a question and move ahead. Also, this session is being recorded, so the people who cannot come on this webinar or any of you would have left early, you can have an access of this webinar for few hours. So it will be around 2 to 3 days. So before we start, a brief introduction about me. I'm Himali Gada, founder of Hungry Brain, and I've been deep diving into brain, its development, how it works, and how we can perform it better by giving an appropriate inputs. With an expertise in this area, research in this area for 18 years, we've actually come out with what is it that when we alter in the form of inputs can bring a difference, a dramatic difference in the kind of child our children will grow up as, the upbringing that parenting impacts. Before I ask you why you are here, I want to thank you all, acknowledge you all to be here. Some of you would have been taking time from your rest, from your work, or have postponed certain things and you choose to be here. So thank you and acknowledge you for being here, and you've taken this decision to be here. That itself shows the kind of commitment that you have for your child's growth and development. So before I start and we move ahead to the concept and the topic, I want few of you to answer this question, which is, why are you here and what are you looking out from this webinar? At times, there is a lag of 3 seconds to 5 seconds where I would say, and you would hear me after 3 seconds. So we would have certain breaks in between. So, yes, Charmin. Charmin, you've unmute and
yes. Hi everyone. All right. Thank you for bringing us in and the webinar. And I have done the early development program of Hungry Brains, which was right from the the stage of being born to 1 year. So it was quite interesting. I do not know exactly how to describe, but I see a lot of, my son started speaking much early. Like he was, I think, 11 months when he started speaking, and now he makes complete sentences, like which more of his age. He's 2.5 right now, not even 2.5. So yeah, he's bright, and it was a great bonding activity also between me and my child. So thank you for that. Now he's already going in a preschool, which is a Montessori-based preschool. So while he's doing that, I am kind of interested in, what are other things that, so the school is called Harmony, and it is a very concept-based school. It is not anything which is, it doesn't do any kind of rote learning or anything. Just they teach concepts. It's a very free-flowing school. Like in one classroom, there are students of different age groups, as opposed to 2.5, but one classroom is 2.5 to 3 years. 5 years ke bacche, everybody in the same class. So I like that concept, different alternate way of thinking. So the reason why I want to understand what Hungry Brain can offer now is this this alternative thinking, this curiosity, this concept learning that he's already doing there. How can I enhance with him in the house, other activities that I could do with him. Also, it's a great bonding thing with the child. So, which is what I like. So what program do you have or you can offer which would be interesting in this? It's the reason why I've joined.
Great, Chaman, thanks for sharing this, and thank you for sharing the kind of feedback that you've got with your child who's 2.5. Can I know his name?
His name is Azad Ali Akhtar.
Yeah, so the difference that you can see with Azad and the kind of bonding that you both share, which is good.
Yeah.
Puneet, I'll come back to you in a minute. Chairman, this in this webinar will be in detail talking about how you can fulfill the dream future, some future that you've seen for Azad, and how we can have it, and you can have it encased in life.
Okay.
And about the activities, when we get the time in the end, I'll surely come to that. If not, then we can talk. You can talk to our team on one-on-one also.
Oh,
But why I'm saying this is the reason why we are having on this platform is this is very crucial, because in our experience we've seen that at times parents are clueless कि हम बच्चे को बड़ा तो करें लेकिन कैसे करें, बच्चा कैसा बड़ा होगा. No, things may not be in our hands. So this webinar is basically to bring light on those areas. And thanks, Shamini, for sharing what you did. Great. Vanita, you had raised your hand, right? Someone did raise hand. Okay, anyone who would like to share? Charmin and others, you can have your video on. It's possible, because that will make the sense, the session quite interactive. Even your notes would make a difference. One more person, why are you here? Anyone? Suvarna, Sarita, Deepa, Anu, Naina. Naina, can you unmute? And I think the leg is gone. Yes, yes, Vinita. Angel. Yes, Angel, you need to unmute and share.
Hi,
Hello, Angel.
my daughter is almost 11 months and I want to be here because I don't know much how to grow the brain development in such a way that she will be the means if I send this to the school and take admission in any school so that she will be the brightest child.
Yeah, and Angel, thanks for sharing that. I could get that it's the brightest child that you're looking, and the brightest and the best of herself that she could ever be, right?
Yes.
Great, great. Thanks for sharing, Angel. This we move ahead. Parents, my commitment with this webinar is that this session gives you opening for new ideas and avenues about parenting. In an hour's time, what you left out is something that you've ever seen about parenting. Yeah, before we move ahead, Sakshi, please unmute and share. Sakshi, you raised your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Ma'am, I'm good. I am here, ma'am. Earlier, I attended almost all of your seminars, and I'm very glad that I'm raising my child. Like I got the guidance. Now she is 2.2, and I have done this early learning program. And ma'am, what she has a very nice, good memory, like whatever she learned once, not in the flashcards and all things are going on, but day
Mhm.
to day, what I understand, she has a very good memory. Like if I teach her one thing, she picked up so fast. So this is what I got from this Hungry Brain program. I started it from 7 month or 8 month, I guess, and now she is 2.5. And like the Charmin and said, yeah, I also started this Montessori school, and the way she picked up things is very different in the. I'm not comparing, but the thing she's picked up very fast. So I'm very curious for this seminar. Ki what is up to next? So I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Great, Sakshi. Thanks for sharing. And this is what I would say. As she grows, you will see different things opening up, because what happens with early learning is the ability to see, remember, and recall that increases. So what we are seeing our child is the exposure that you would have got below 3 years is quite limited. But after 3 years, when the exposure will increase, I'm sure you're going to be surprised at many times.
Yeah, true, ma'am, true.
Thanks for sharing and thanks for coming here, Sakshi. So we move ahead to the next slide, the real context or the content of the webinar today. Even before the baby arrives, we have certain hopes and dreams. Sorry, I've not shared the screen with you. Just start with my commitment again so that you can see it. Yeah. So this webinar, my commitment is that this session gives you openings for new ideas and avenues about parenting. Parenting, one job that we have taken as full time, maybe many would have left their career or whatever things that we are doing, we're actually giving our precious time, money, energy, all the resource in upbringing our children. And this parenting will have new ways out of this after this webinar. Even before baby arrives, we have certain hopes and dreams about the qualities that the child will develop in the life, isn't it? What qualities are you hoping or dreaming for? So just it could be any quality that you're seeing that मेरे बच्चे में ये होना चाहिए, ये चीज है. This is something that I want my child to be. This is something that I want my child to have. So you can either unmute and share, raise your hand, unmute and share, or answer it in the chat box. And this is a safe space. Don't worry. People are seeing here, not getting present to your conversation or not. This is an eye opener for all. Your sharing, you may not know, will make difference to thousands of other parents also. Yes, Sakshi has shared good values. Yes, Angel. Angel, you can unmute and share. Others, come on. What is it? What is it that you're looking your child to be? The qualities that a child would have. Just go back to those days when you got the news. Anush shared confidence. Yeah, very good. And that confidence really matters a lot in life. Yeah, Angel, you can unmute and share. Charmin shares innovations. Yeah. Vaibhavi, Shrutika, Suvarna. Come on, don't want to move ahead till we do not get enough qualities, which we will take as a guidelines for the entire webinar. Yes, Priya. What is it that you're looking your child to have? What qualities? Priya, you've raised your hand, but you need to unmute before you speak. Yes, it emotional intelligence, a strong emotional intelligence, the bond, which is very important. Awesome. Yes, Angel.
I'm unable to see the chat option. I'm searching for it, but it's not there.
It would be in the right corner. A square box like a message icon.
No.
But as you unmute, you can just share right away. What is it that you're looking for?
Nothing much, but a good person in any field.
It's not nothing much, it's huge. Being a good person is a big quality in life.
Yes, I know.
Thanks. But yeah. Yes. Can I get certificate that I attended your webinar? This webinar, Priya, is this is nothing as a certificate you require. This is for your understanding that how your parenting can go about and how you can alter the parenting styles. So moving ahead with this, What are the plans and pathways you've thought in order to accomplish that dream? So Priya, when you say it's emotional intelligence, Suvarna shared intelligence, Sakshi shared good values, confidence, good person, and whatever you would have. What is it that you're looking ahead? What are the plans and pathways that you have planned in order to accomplish this dream? It could be some type of education, some type of exposure that you give, some type of parenting environment that you would have, some ethics, some values, some clarity. Priya, just check your volume. It could be low. Here it's fine. Everyone else can see it well. So Priya, apna volume, you can just raise your volume and check. Yeah, so Angel, can you unmute and just share what are the plans? What is it that Charmin has shared a holistic upbringing?
Plans for what?
Plans to have your dream that your child becomes a good person. How do
Yes.
you accomplish that?
Uh, Yet I didn't think about much, but it's just she's only 11 months, so I didn't thought very much about that.
Great. Thanks for sharing. We've seen that in India, majority of us we did have some thoughts when we were expecting. That's the news that we got. There's a baby. And the best part is this is human being whom we can mold for the entire life. So a human person whom we can, new human that we can shape into as a adult. And there are dreams, but with the kind of routines that we get, those dreams just get, just they're lost or left aside somewhere. Now, taking this question in some other way, we'll see that what are the adverse developments that you hope or wish that should not happen with your child. So we always say precaution is better than cure, isn't it? So what is it that you think that ये तो बच्चे के साथ होना ही नहीं चाहिए, कुछ भी नहीं, कभी भी नहीं? What are those things? Yeah. Anjali, you've raised your hand again. Other people, Sarika, Muskan, Vaibhavi, Suvarna. Yeah, Vinita shared lie. You don't want your child to tell lie. Very good. And that's no, the more we get clarity ki these are the qualities ye nahi chahiye, we can plan our parenting accordingly. Yes, Sakshi.
Ma'am, according to me, for child, no is like a traumatizing childhood, like child traumatizing, like they always have this thing happened to me in the when I was child. I heard so much from people as this thing happened to me as a child. So that is because of I am like this now. Like this, because of my childhood is not that good, I am like that. So I'm able to connecting maybe this should not happen as a child. So they are connecting like that.
So
Maybe the self-esteem, maybe their behavior, maybe this could be anything. They have
okay, got that. Sangeeta shared that the quality that the adverse effect that you don't want a child to have is being jealous. Sarika shared irresponsible person and non-confident kids. Preeti shared, I don't want my child to get addicted to mobile. Anusha's childhood trauma in any way. Awesome. The more we get clarity, these are the things that we do not want. We can go to the root cause of it. Before going to the root cause of it, we'll understand how these adverse effects may result in child's life. Yes, Charmin.
Hi. I was trying. What I would want not my son to go through is lack of exposure And by exposure, I mean all kinds of exposure, whether it's emotional intelligence, whether it's, exposure to different kind of cultures, different exposure to different kind of emotions. I would like him to try everything out in life and make his own choices. Is the path that I want my son to make, and
Great.
and then he should be in a position where he can make wise choices. So decisions is his. I can only, like I always say, I can only give him a playground. How he wants to play is going to be his choice. So I just want to make sure that I take him to the right playground. कि ये अब तुम करो जो तुम्हें बनना है.
Awesome. So saying it that you would have different options available for him and he can select. So he's Azad. Azad is Azad for his
Yeah.
choice.
Yes, absolutely. Like his name.
Great, great, great. Sarika says the adverse effects makes child unhappy. Yes. They make them unhappy and unsuccessful. Yeah. What else? When those adverse effects, what we talk about being irresponsible person, non-confident child, jealous child, how do they result in child's life? Thinking a little more here, it would be poor academic performance, where the concentration and focus is less. Yes, actually, low self-esteem, loss of overall confidence, low self-esteem, which was shared, becoming stubborn and rebellious. One of the quality that children develop because of other things is this: being stubborn and rebellious, lack of communication, this Charmin shared, poor emotional bonds, because when there's a lot of frustration, irritation in the family, then the emotional bonds they get impacted, and this is how child is okay with whatever parents do or whatever people do around. Insensitive and indifferent with surroundings. Whatever happens. Child अपनी दुनिया में नो जो जिसको जो करना है मैं और मे बी मेरा टॉय मोबाइल और whatever मैं खुश. Isn't it? So these are the few adverse effects, and obviously what all you shared, they are the outcome. Like this adverse effects impact the child's life in different ways. And have you observed this and similar outcomes happening among the families around you? These are the adverse effects that we see around people, isn't it? If you could get what I'm saying, if you could relate to any family or any children, just type in yes in the chat box. That yeah, you could see. Yeah, thanks for the communications. Thanks for the yes. Do you agree that this outcomes can be real hurdles and obstacles in fulfilling the future you have dreamt for your child? A child who's stubborn, a child who's rebellious, a child who's insensitive. Yeah, they are the real hurdles, the real obstacles. And to overcome these obstacles, there is a big question mark in the parenting area. And today we are going to see a lot on this. But I have a good news to share, a real good news. And the good news is that it is very much in our hands to overcome all of those hurdles, all of those possible adverse outcomes that you could ever think of. Let me make a bold statement. It is very much in our hands, in our parents' hand. It is very much in our hands to fulfill whatever future we have dreamt for our child. And it's possible. You can just take time, or by the end of the day, just write down what all qualities that you're looking for. You can ask our team to get the recording of this video and see it again and actually compare it and see how your dreams are being fulfilled. But this is a bold statement. Anything and everything that you dream can be possible. This is simply because every child is born with enormous potential and every parent can convert it into reality. When you hear this, obviously the question that you will get is, how can we convert this enormous potential into reality, isn't it? Any clues? child's enormous potential is majorly unleashed by the kind of the exposures and learnings that the child is exposed to. This is the fact. And at the same time, there is another fact. And that is that mostly we parents are unaware that exclusive varieties of exposures play a very critical role in child's intellectual, behavioral, and emotional development. And these three developments really play a major role. If you can see, the entire human identity is behind these three things. Yeah, spiritual will also come when the child is emotionally sound and behavioral, these things. So making all the developments, it's possible in our hands. So we'll see here. Let us look at the structure and the working of the brain. A little of science, but this will give us clarity, or I would say magical openings for us as parents on how we can actually grab this opportunity and make a turnaround in our child's life. So ready? So our brain. A brain consists of 100 billion neurons. They're called brain cells. Every person on this planet is born with 100 billion neurons. And this neuron, each neuron consists of mainly two parts. There's the nucleus, which stores information. It would be like your name, home address, people around. This is called flower, what all information. Every information that's been covered by the nucleus. And multiple dendrites, which act as wiring amongst neurons. So that dendrites, they connect each neuron to another, each nucleus to another nucleus. And when they connect, that's where this nucleus gets connected. So here you can see the image. This is the center one. This will be a center one where you could see that there are many nucleus, this bulging part of it. This part is the nucleus and the dendrites that are there connected. Dendrites are the medium of connectivity among brain cells. And every new exposure ignites dendrite growth in the brain. Every new exposure. And each neuron, there are 100 billion neurons, right? Each neuron can have anywhere between a few and 1 lakh dendrites connecting to other neurons. A few and 1 lakh dendrites. And that's the huge area for us parent to make a difference. What is it that's coming in your mind listening to this? Anyone? Any questions? Yes, Akshi.
I'm like electric wire, like electricity runs around. It's feel like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's that huge. The fact is, more the dendrites, better the connectivity among neurons. Now, these neurons, they have got enormous information stored, and this storage really matters. But the connectivity plays an important role. This connectivities ensure that capturing information, whatever the child is exposed, that's the capturing information, understanding it. It's just not capturing, it's also understanding it, analyzing it, what it is, how it is, and responding appropriately. That's the major function of the human brain. Whatever the child or any adult has been exposed to, the inputs are there, understanding happens, analyzing happens, and responding happens. In a way, we can say that intelligence is capturing information, understanding, analyzing, and responding quickly. The speed is the essence. There would be a question that is asked now, and the brain can answer it now. That's where the smartness is. If the answer comes after 3 hours or 7 hours, so maybe of no value at that particular time. Ideas may come, but when it comes to intelligence, it's like we're talking right now, the brainstorming, everything happening, that happens right now. And that's the major crux of human brain, being intelligence. And we can say that intelligence is a function of strong connectivity and networking among neurons. And this is something that is in our hands. Now, in few slides, we'll actually understand how the whole process goes and how we as parents can really make enormous difference to our child's life. Now, how we can do so? If we just see, like it is said, that we humans use our brains. If it's asked, how much do we use our brains? Answers, even if we say 1%, that's arrogance. Now, how can that happen? It's not like that we've got this brain, your huge brain. We would just use one part of it and the rest is not used. No, it's never like that. Rather, the potential that the brain has, that is, those neurons have to grow dendrites, which is what 1 lakh dendrites. Each neuron can have 1 lakh dendrites. But the kind of exposure that children get at a very young age, that exposure is not enough even to have 1000 dendrites grow. And that's where it says that we hardly use 1% of our potential. That means it's not using directly as using, but it's not even grown to that level that it could be utilized. But here's the magic, that there is no upper limit of developing brain capacity for any child across the globe. Any child you take, and you have no upper limit. Whatever exposures you give to your child, the brain grows. Those dendrites can grow till 1 lakh dendrites. And all those 100 billion neurons, when they have those many dendrites, the kind of human being is, the efficiency and the effectiveness of that brain is extraordinary. There's one thing that really matters here, and that is, younger the baby, sharper the grasping ability. The ability that the child has, that young baby has, is enormous. As that age goes, this ability decreases. And this is something totally contradicting in the kind of parenting that we have. As a parent, we've always seen that, or we believe that our children, a newborn is a delicate baby, isn't it? What a newborn could do, just be relied on the other people in totality, isn't it? That's a myth. Newborns, this is half true, but half is myth. Newborns are incapable, yes. They can't do much, yes. But in the area of physical activities, where they have to move around, do their things by their own, have that strength to stand and walk or protect themselves, understand their body, that's where they're incapable. But they are highly capable to take in information, understand them, start analyzing it. The ability that a child has is far more than what an adult has. We're going to see a video of 4 kids at 4 different ages. That is 4 months, 8, 9 months, 15 months, and 5 years. And you'll actually see the magic of human brain and the ability of the human brain. Enjoy the video.
Which is giraffe? Which is flower? Flower. Which flower?
Which is story? Wow, very good. And just and very good.
Dragon. S. Bull. Very good.
Deep in the heart of a dark forest lives a dragon. A tall fence runs all the way around his house, and the gate is always locked.
How is it? How would you see when a child at the age of whatever he is or she is right now, 3 months, 10 months, 11 months, 2 years, 3 years, if your child can read that independently at 5 years, how would that class be? Just imagine one classroom of the first standard where there are 60 or 40 kids in that class, and all those 40 kids can actually read independently at this level. How will that academics go? How will that educational life go? How will that childhood go? And that's the vision that Hungry Brain moves ahead. Every child has the potential to read and have utilize their intellectual ability to this high levels. So we'll understand this in a still deeper way. There are various researchers that have done they work on brain intelligence, how brain develops and how things happen. And they are from different parts of the globe. There are various researchers that say that the highest brain capacity or highest capacity of the brain to grasp information is in the first 2 years after the birth. So take the entire lifespan, whatever the child can take in information, the first 2 years is like the maximum that any child can ever have. Now, there's another group of researchers that they say the highest grasping capacity is in the first 2 months after the birth. The ability that the child can take in is extremely high. There are some other researchers who also say that highest grasping capacity in days is the first 2 days after birth. That is, pick up any 2 days of the life, even when the person is going for a doctorate or engineering or any other degree, and the kind of studies that that person would be doing. To take that grasping ability or learning ability and compared to the first 2 days of the life, the first 2 days increases. So the child starts the control over the body, understanding people around, getting accustomed to the environment. All those abilities that the child does itself says that the kind of potential that these babies have is enormous. Our baby has enormous potential. Whatever the researchers say, they say, but we can take it as a final conclusion, that is, babies are born learning hungry. You could see that your baby would recognize you when? After birth. Any guess? When would your child be able to say or understand that this is my mom? Maybe not say, but then understand that this is my mom. It happens on the day of birth itself. And child can do by recognizing you by your smell and your sound. Something that baby has an excess 3 during the fetal stage. Baby recognizes you by your smell and sound. And that exposure of fetal stage has that high impression that on the day of birth, even baby has not seen you, but can understand that this is the person I'm close to. The lullabies or the communication that has happened in the family that make a major impact. One of the research also says that on the day of birth itself, baby cries with the accent of the mother tongue. That's the kind of learning potential these babies are born with. They're born learning hungry. Yes, Priyanka. You can unmute and ask your question or share. Priyanka's will come back. Before Priyanka, after we'll just wait for her to come back, but then we'll go ahead. Yes, Dharani. You can unmute and share.
Actually, the flashcards is the major role, right?
No, flashcards is not the major role. Flashcard is a medium.
Yeah. Okay, I'm fine. But if you are using the flashcards, when, for example, if we'll take one topic like flowers topic, we'll take. We'll take in flowers topic 24 flashcards will be there. So for 1 week we are using continuously the flashcards, and next week we are going to animals topic. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we have to repeat the flowers topic while doing the second topic.
So you have flashcards first and let's understand the concept of flashcards. Flashcards are those cards which we flash at a high speed.
Mm-hmm.
So any cards that you have like this, you'll just flash it in a very high speed and child sees it. That's flashing. This increases the ability to see, focus, and recollect. Remember it and recollect. Now, do you want your child to just have photographic memory or have an overall development? If you want to have an overall development, develop the long-term memory. In those cases, you need to have those exposures done for 5 months in a particular fashion. Just showing flashcard does not develop the long-term memory. It develops the photographic memory, the ability to see and remember and recollect.
Okay.
So it all depends, Dharini, what all depth you want. If you want to have the development done, like whatever exposure that you have, it becomes like a print on the child's brain. Then things are done in a different way. Then you
Okay.
go for 5 months in a particular process.
Okay, so actually, currently my baby is 5 months old, so that I'm asking.
But at this age, along with flashcards, what really matters is the sensory stimulations as well. Are you doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because flashcards are part of it. There's a lot other things that you can have your child been exposed to thinking stimulation cards as well, where the child can actually understand and decode how the world is around.
Okay, we need to introduce one topic for 1 week, right? So should we use any order, particular order, continuous order entire week?
When you use a continuous order, that really matters. So you can connect with our team and understand in depth about how it goes. We have a huge parent support team and they'll be happy to support you in the whole process.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Zanini. Thanks for sharing.
I have one doubt, ma'am. Can I ask it?
Yes, Deepa, please.
You told that the baby is having the high grasping capacity. So then why we stick to only 12 cards in a day? Can't we show 3 to 4 varieties of cards in a day?
We should. Rather, the ability of the child, that's something that India is far behind in education in some ways, when in other countries, their parents, the children were exposed to 800 cards a day. So it's that big. But we start slowly and gradually. We want the child to develop the ability step by step. So we start with as low as 1 or 2 cards and then move on to 7 cards, 12 cards, and then go at till 100 and 150 cards and whatever strength we can go to.
Initially, we should show only 12 cards.
So it depends on the age. What's a child's age, Deepa?
3 months, ma'am.
3 months, you do not start. You can start with thinking stimulation cards because that's going to actually have the development of understanding how the world operates, sharpen the observation skills also. So there's a different pathway that we go accordingly. So you can connect to the parent support team of Hungry Brain and they'll support you. Will that do, Deepa?
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
The process is extremely important. It's just like even if we want to lose our weight, we would eat food, but we require a dietitian who would actually tell us what combination, when and how. And when we have food in that manner, it really impacts our health. So even for children, it's just not the material, but the process is extremely important. So whenever you're using anything, ensure that the process has been used well, and then you move ahead with the child. Right process will bring miraculous results. So now moving ahead, appropriate nurturing during the first 2 years can ensure retaining and enhancing the inborn intellectual capacity. Now there are 2 things. One is retaining. The first one is retaining, and then second one is enhancing. Yes, Preeti. Preeti, you can ask your question. Preeti, you've raised your hand. You need to unmute and then ask. Just trying it. Here. When we say about the brain's ability in retaining and enhancing, they're 2 different things. One, retaining because it otherwise gets lost. You could see a well-known fact about the capacity of human brain is you use it or lose it. This is something that we cannot store. If we do not use it, it's lost, and the loss is forever. This loss is we cannot reverse it. It's irreversible. This loss is mandatory. This loss happens. Now it is in our hands how much loss we want our child to have and how much can we save our child's intellectual ability from having the loss. So this detail we'll understand in the next video, which is on pruning, synaptic pruning. Now this is a phenomena that happens 3 times in life after birth. And this 3 times is unavoidable. This happens, this comes for any human being to have a foundation of complex thinking and understanding. Now, this phenomena, it is like a hormonal secretion that happens in the brain. That hormonal secretion that shrinks the dendrites which are not being used or hardly used. Remember the networking that we were talking about? 2 brain cells, they're connected with each other. The neurons are connected with each other through dendrites. Now, as and how those messages, let me just go slow. You're going to see in this video, and the explanation I'll do is after that video. In this video, you're going to see 3 things. 1, you will see how the light passes. Now, that's the thinking that happens. That's the functioning of the neural networking that happens. Second, you will see that when these connections are being used again and again, this becomes stronger. The connection becomes stronger. And the third, you will see in the process of pruning, the ones which are not strong, the connections which are weak or hardly touched, they fade away. They get shrinked, and they get shrink for life. So enjoy this video, and then we'll take the communication after that in depth.
These connections form circuits that become the basic foundation of brain architecture. Circuits and connections proliferate at a rapid pace and are reinforced through repeated use. Our experiences and environment dictate which circuits and connections get more use. Connections that are used more grow stronger and more permanent. Meanwhile, connections that are used less fade away through a normal process called pruning. Well-used circuits create lightning-fast pathways for neural signals to travel across regions of the brain. Simple circuits form first, providing a foundation for more complex circuits to build on later.
Three things that, did you see that in this video? That's the essence. Now, when I came across pruning years back, that was the time put our foot down that we cannot have this loss of human resource happening across the globe. The kind of human resource that's lost is lost even it's like a parent would take steps ki chalo mujhe mere bacche ke liye kuch karna, I want to do something for my child, but the phase is lost. The chemical the hormonal secretion happens, and though there are thousands, 100 billion brain cells, but if you could see, there's so many brain cells like this. They're there, they're scattered. The information that is there stored in those brain cells is also lost. It's not by chance that the information that we've learned in our life, so much education that we have had, is just lost. It's lost because of the poor networking. And it can be saved for our child's life when we work on those neural networks. It works amazingly. We'll see the impact of providing this timely stimulation, the kind of difference that we can have on our children. So in the X and the Y lines, you can see the intellectual development that happens in one line and before pruning. This before first birthday. The first pruning, okay, this is what I forgot to share. The first pruning happens between the first and the second birthday of life. That's the period where the brain has those clarity, diminishing the brain cells which are not being used, the dendrites are being washed out, and the high quality Once the ones which are repeated well, they stay. Now here is the pruning process, the intellectual development that happens. See this green line? Here's the growth of the intellectual development that happens before pruning. During the pruning process, it comes down because the shrinking happens, and then it goes at a less slow in life ahead. This is for the brain cells which are ignored or ill-stimulated brains. You can count us in this. We were not stimulated in our childhood, and that's the kind of ability that we're growing out. But thanks to science, thanks to researchers, that today we know that we can actually make a dramatic difference in our child's life. And here's the difference that we can make. With the timely exposure that we can give, the graph goes so high. It will come down during the pruning process, and then it will move ahead. But the magic is here. The red arrow that you can see, that's the gap which is now available for our children for entire life. When we make a difference in our child's intellectual ability, the kind of exposures that the child gets, the kind of development that the child has is enormous. You could think of a question, how can we parent can actually capitalize this period at this tender age, isn't it? The child can hardly do. Friends, we can do that by providing simple, planned, and progressive exposures. Now, as you shared about Charmin and Sakshi, we're now looking for what's the next progress that we're going to have for our child. As the child grows, the child's ability grows, the progression is important. So whatever exposure that we provide to our child, which is simple, planned in a specific way and progressive, we can actually capitalize this period of the tender age. The fact is, a formal teacher gets introduced in the child's life at a very late stage. So it's like 2.5 or after that. By then the pruning is almost done. Actually, parents are the first and the best teacher for the child. I'm sure you would now agree with this. You may have questions and concerns. How can I be a teacher? I don't know anything. Blah, blah, blah. My academics was this. I've been an engineer or I've been into commerce. No parenting. Don't worry. This parent support team that will support you, but you're the best teacher ever that the child would ever have. You can have the best teacher. You can pay them they would be the most expensive teacher, but they can never ever overtake you. The kind of parent that you are marvelous. In fact, when a parent teaches in a joyful way, the child learns easily. You're going to see the next video where you'll be amazed to see that children do learn this much. I mean, these children, I'm sure few of you would be zapped, you would be speechless seeing this video where babies as young as 5 months and 10 months solving mathematical problems. Now, why mathematics is here is because that's the highest area of brain. The ability that brain has, you see the higher level of performance, the kind of logics that have been used in mathematics are the higher level of brain function. And any child whose ability is so high, anything and everything becomes simple for that child for the entire life. The kind of thinking, logics, analysis, all is like simple, crystal clear. So enjoy this video and see that it is simple and easy to teach anything to babies through appropriate exposures.
Give me the card of 56. 56. Oh my goodness.
क्लास में जब भागे तो 56 में आते थे देखा
टीवी देखा
Give me the card of 60. Oh my goodness.
Isha, which is the largest number? Good job. Okay, I'm shuffling. Ishan, which is the largest number? Ooh, good job.
Now tell Mama, how much is 60 minus 21? 60 minus 21? 39. Oh, correct. Very good. Okay. Now tell Mama, how much is 2 into 48? 2 into 48. Very good. Very nice.
How was it? What is your experience seeing that? Unbelievable, isn't it? As young as 8-month-old and 10-month-old baby, I mean, solving equations.
True.
True. And this is possible because children are born with infinite potential. Babies, they have this something called extrasensory perception. You give them facts in an appropriate way and they can form their own laws. Here, this child, if you can go to our Instagram page or YouTube, you could see the entire video where this child solves all addition, subtraction, multiplication, division at the age of 10 months. And this way, he's just not doing the ones which have been taught, but he understood the logic, understood the concept. And now you can show any equations and he is ready with it. And that's what our children are. It's just not a saying that human brain is far better than the highest or the fastest computer ever on the globe. Human brain is better than that. But it's like the kind of exposure that the child gets that really matters, and that impacts the kind of outcome that human brain ever has. Now, here is one thing which would be like, again, another eye-opener for you. We've been talking about growing intelligence, isn't it? But this timely exposure for brain, this stimulation for brain at a very young age, apart from growing intelligence, they do make dramatic difference in other areas also. And this increased neural network that happens with the stimulation, it channelizes the child's energy. It shapes behavior and strengthens the emotional bonds. Now, this play a very critical role in child's life. If you could just relate to maybe a jigsaw puzzle that you've solved years back when you were young, or maybe you've done a trekking and climbed a mountain or a hill, it would have taken 2-3 hours. Just imagine that person, that hiker, who's climbing a mountain for 4 hours with that weight on the shoulder, hurt on the knees or maybe hand, and is thirsty, hungry, tired, exhausted. But when the moment he reaches on the mountain top and those two breaths, those first 10 breaths, they're like, wow. All the hardships are gone. They've vanished. Now, that satisfaction, that is what children get with every dendrites that they grow, the connections that happen. And when those excitement happens, that pleasure comes, it shapes the behavior. It shapes the behavior in a particular healthy way. The understanding that the child develops, that channelizes their child's energy, and the kind of bond that the child has with the person who's given me all this exposure is marvelous. You can have n number of teachers and your child would have the bond with n number of teachers in life. But we can grab this opportunity and make a lifetime impression, and the lifetime, this, ये जो फेविकॉल का मजबूत जोड़ बोलते हैं ना, वैसे एक ऐसा मजबूत जोड़, फेविकॉल का नहीं, सीमेंट का. It's like, even if we say not cement, then it's like being one. That's the kind of emotional bond we can develop with our child with this growing intelligence at a very young age. This is the foundation of the entire life. And that is why it is said that it is easy to mold and shape a child's behavior rather than correcting it. At the age of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, There would be things that we need to correct. But when we are working at this young age, that's where we alter things. Magic happens. Magic happens is we will not get those opportunities where we need to correct it. The understanding that the child has is far better and different. Child could actually understand that if mama is telling me no for chocolate, there's some reason. If mama is telling me no to do this, there's some reason. Let me go and understand that. That development in the understanding alters the emotional bonds forever, alters the personality forever. Timely exposures during this period develops the child to be extremely curious and learning friendly. And this ability, when the child has learning friendly, can have anything in life. Since every child is born learning hungry, what happens when the learning hunger is not matched and fulfilled? Friends, what happens? What do you think actually happens when this learning hunger is not matched? So we've seen this part. When it's matched, there's something that happens. But what happens when it is not matched? Yeah, anyone? Priyanka, Deepa, Gunjal, Sakshi. Just guess. It could be any answer. But just start thinking, what will happen when this is not matched? Yeah, Charmin.
Lack of confidence, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
frustration and lack of confidence.
frustration, lack of confidence. Yeah. Yes, actually. Priti shared lack of interest in doing things. Yeah. Shidal, I'll come to your question soon.
Ma'am, the
Yes.
child is always pressured. He always feel pressure, and he always, running from the studies or running from the things which always being feel pressured. Uh,
Yes. Child will feel pressured and will run away. Now, this is $1 million sentence that you say, Sakshi, but this would have brought a question mark to many parents, isn't it? That if we do not give this exposure, what's the connect with child being feeling pressured? Any idea? The gradual learning develops, this gradually child who's not matching, this child develops dislike for learning. So the same child who's at the age of 1 year wants to crawl, walk, move around, maybe 1.5, want to climb here, go there. No matter how many stops and breaks you will provide to your child, will the child stop? For time being, yes. Not for the life, not even for a week's time. Yes, Akshi.
Ma'am, my question is like, if they skip the age like 0 to 2 years, what about the older children? How can we, because this is a question most of having,
Yeah.
like if the age is gone, now what? Now what is the next step they have to take?
Great. Thanks, Sakshi, for asking this question. And I'll come back to this immediately after I finish this. Or let me answer that. First pruning that happens between the first and second birthday. If the second birthday is gone, you've lost that. You cannot have that again. But yet there are 2 processes of pruning left. Start today. Yet the ability that our child has is enormous. So we again come back to the learning part. The child who wants to crawl, touch this, do this, poke the finger in this 3-pin plug or whatever, and we will stop, and child will stop, may stop for that particular moment, but not for life. In a week's time or 10 days, child will again do that. Now that's the kind of learning hunger that the child has, that every child is born with. But eventually, if you see, there's a reality of life, a sad reality of life, that you take a child of 8, 9, 10 standard, a parent needs to force the child, padhai karo, learn. The learning is no more a joy. Now, here this you can understand by this experience. Just imagine you're very hungry. You're very hungry and you've gone to your friend's place and you're going to stay for a week's time there, and you're very hungry, and at the time of dinner, you go there after the whole day work, you go to her home and she gives you a few biscuits. You eat them. And that's it. You've got nothing for lunch, nothing for the dinner. The kitchen is wind up. They're not serving you anything else. How will you feel? You cannot say anything to them. What would your experience be? Would you be satisfied, happy, having those few biscuits? Or will be left irritated, deprived, hungry, upset? What would it be? And what it would be if it happens for 4 days, 5 days consequently. Majority of the parents have shared, majority, or I would say almost every parent have shared that in such phase, they would stop expectation or pani pi ke bhuk ko maar denge. Just kill away the hunger. Find out ways. If there are any other possible ways, go for it. If not, have water, do something, but just forget it. It's gone. Isn't it? And that's the same that happens with the child. The child is hungry from here, the brain. And when this hunger is not fed, that's the time. Ongoingly, when the hunger is not fed, child says, okay, I don't want to learn. Learning brings pain. Let me keep quiet and just move ahead in my life. This reality, if you could see that, then how? Yes, Janvi, please go ahead with your question. Anyone else want to ask something? Anu has shared my 4.9-year-old and his lost interest in studies. Doesn't even want to recognize letter and number. Thank you, Anu, for sharing this. And this is the reality in majority of young children today. They've lost that charm. But at the age of 4.9, yet you've got a time to bounce back and make a difference in your child's life. There are opportunities and do grab them. But for parents whose children are young than this, it really makes a lot of difference. So we move to the next point. A question. How a child can be future ready to take up academic learning with joy and willingness? Who would answer that? Basically, I've covered the answer by myself only. Is it by matching the learning hunger at the time when the child is hungry for learning? When you miss that bus, it's gone. So ensure that you grab the bus in the right time. You have this ability ongoingly. Give that oxygen of learning to the child when it's the right time to grow and develop. And now just see it in a different way. How guaranteed an academic performance will be when the child is already reading and solving equations even before entering the formal school. How would that life be? How would that academic performance be in life? What would you say? Amazing, isn't it? And that's the kind of academic performance, how it would be when our child has that. With a strong foundation of timely stimulation, the extent of developing intelligence is limitless. Friends, any child can have any career. Any child can have any career. Any career. You name it and you can have it for your child. Now, another area to think on. Education is majorly an area where there are a lot of frictions, isn't it? You could see to other families where parent would say, "Khilne nahi jana, pehle padhai kar lo, finish this much and then do this. Now enough of playing, finish this," whatever, in whatever ways the families have. But the majority of friction that happens in any family who has a school-going child is with academics. It goes to that extent that when exams are there, it's just not child's exam. It's even parents who are giving the exams. It seems so because there's so much engrossed for the child to have the learning done. Now, if you see that family and just visualize that when conflicts and frictions regarding academic performance are vanished, what would be the level of bonding between a parent and child? What would that be? How great it would be, and the experience of life for both the child and the parent. It would be amazing, isn't it? And how the child's overall personality will be when the academic performance is pressure-free. Something that I want you to think on, actually see, and see how you can have this for your child. What future becomes possible when a child is nurtured in this manner? What future? So to summarize, can we say that babies are born with learning hunger and parents' role is to match and satisfy their growing hunger by providing planned brain stimulation during the initial years, isn't it? This initial years are very important. They bring a turnaround for the child, their foundation for the entire life. And we as parents, when we give them the bestest of food, the clothing, and all the physical needs, we are even capable to match and satisfy their growing hunger, learning hunger. And when we match that, that's where the dendrized growth happens. And when the more dendrized growth, the kind of neural connectivity that the child has is awesome. And that's where you can have more intelligence available to use right now, and for the life. For this, we've seen that after this webinar, there are many parents, it's a majority of parents, they take some of the other actions. There are many parents who, to match and satisfy this hunger, one of the options that we parents have is to search on internet and find various research papers on brain development, on child's brain development, because it's very important, the planned method. Compile them and invent methods on their own. Many parents do that, isn't it? Even you would do that. You need to have basic understanding on how brain develops. What's the science behind it? Because there's been enormous researches that they say, and when people have done that, we can follow them, understand it, extract the essence of it and have it for our child. Or we can look for products and programs available in the market which are designed according to the relevant researchers. Very important, because the magic is in the process. If the dietitian gave you inappropriate diet, whatever food you eat, you may not lose weight or be healthy and fit. The magic is not in the food, but the combination and the method in which you have the food. That really matters. So the method that you have for your child's exposure, that really matters. Do not compromise on the method. So with this webinar, I'll just conclude a bit about what we're doing. In the area of child's brain development, we at Hungry Brain, we have done extensive study of multiple researchers, extracted the essence from them and designed simple programs and services. Hungry Brain is the pioneer in designing methods where the magic is in the process. Parent will have no clue. You as a parent, you're just showing few cards or following some method like first line description, second line, third line, writing the name on the front. You have the method and you are amazed to see your child actually reading books and solving equations. That's the magic that happens. We have lakhs of satisfied families who stand as a testimonial of our programs and services. You can see them on our Instagram page, YouTube, and just search over it, you get lots of them. Hungry Brain program, Hungry Brain prepares a child for taking up all learning responsibilities. I would say taking up all learning responsibilities with joy and willingness. That's what they want. They do not want, it's not like that parents want and have to do. No. The child is responsible and the child wants to take it for self. And Hungry Brain program is a ladder to performance that any child can easily climb. To know more about our programs, you can visit on our website www.hungrybrain.in. You can avail our products and programs directly from the website, from various e-commerce platforms, and you can also connect with our team in case you have any assistance, you really need any assistance. The number will be the one from which you've received the webinar link, or you can connect on this given number. Once you receive the material, our parent support team will assist you with the customized coaching for the entire tenure. This customized coaching is where the magic happens. When you send a video how your child is responding, that's where the next level will be shared with you, because every child is unique and the methods are unique. Yeah, so before I move ahead, to ensure, Charmin, you have a question, right?
Hi, yes. I had a question about now that my son is two and a half, and I have the numbers and learning wala. I had taken that. I haven't started with that with him. And then there is another program also that you have, which is only up till 2.5, I guess. The second, the life skills program.
Life skill development program.
So,
yes.
Which do you think now that he's 2.5 and I've done the early learning, which do you think I should do first, and which is not needed anymore?
Life skill development program is a must.
Okay.
Because this will actually develop the kind of understanding that the child will have. If this is to be done, if this is an outcome that I want, what are the opportunities, what are the methods that I have to follow?
Okay. So the maths one can be done little later also, because that itself, because doing both of them together can be quite a task also for, for you, for a person who's like trying to do it, because that investment of time is a lot. So which is also kind of a concern for me, so I have to take out that time. So it can be done a little later, or it has to be done simultaneously. What would you say?
It can be done simultaneously, and as we saw in the video earlier, the kind of development that the child has, like younger the baby, better the intellectual ability to grow. Then I would recommend, and using both the programs will not take more than 15 minutes of you in a day.
What I realize is, so no, it does take more than 15 minutes, because first I have to plan it, then I have to, so that takes, because I did the whole 1-year program and it was great. I've seen a huge change. I have seen things, and I can't compare it because I don't know other kids and all, and it'll be too pompous to say my child is doing that. But of course, he's brighter and generally very confident as a child. All of that I can see. But yes, it does take that time, because you have to prepare, you have to make your own, how to tell him. Then there's a lot of ki acha mama ye de do, wo sara hota hai. So I'm just trying to understand how to do it, like, in terms of doing it together, or if I was to choose, I get your point, but if I was to choose between the two, which is the one I should choose for sure?
At this age, life skill development program.
Okay.
Because that's where the understanding happens. There's a transition phase from a child not being responsible enough in life to being responsible, not having his choices, and now he's azad for his own child choices. It's clear. Right. Mujhe ye chahiye, aisa chahiye, in this way. This transition does not have any guidelines for a child on what strategies or how would their understanding go ahead, and they will they need to have their thinking formed.
I get it. So I'll try and do both, because since I already have the maths thing, but yeah, that's my question.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Monia has asked, when will all the pruning come in life? Nice question. And this I purposely do not answer in the first chat, because I want to understand the attention span of the parent and the curiosity. Thanks, Monia, for asking this. The 3 pruning process. The first process happens from between the first and the second birthday. The second happens during the puberty stage, and third happens during the adulthood. That's when we say that he's no more a boy, now he's a man. She's not a girl, she's a woman or a lady. That transition is where the pruning process actually happens. The first pruning process is majorly on the intellect ability. The second pruning process goes more on emotional perspective, and third on the self personality overall. So the major intellectual loss happens in the first pruning process. Friends, there was some intentions why we had this webinar. Just want to know whether we've met this intention with this webinar. The first intention is that you will see that it is very much in your hands to fulfill everything that you dreamt for your child. Can you see that it is very much in your hands to fulfill whatever you dreamt for your child? If you could see that this intention is fulfilled, you can just type in yes in the chat box. Share, or it was not fulfilled, or what we can alter around. Thank you. Thank you for all the yeses. The second intention is children love to learn everything that you teach them in a joyous manner. Children love to learn anything. Anything is anything. Would be mathematics, would be logics, would be reading, would be anything. It's a parent who teaches them in a joyful manner. Thank you for the answers. And your yes really gives the satisfaction that this are the intentions. You want every parent to have this understanding, because your child is just not a child for you. It's a child for the entire globe. No wonder your child could be anything that you've dreamt of. Could be next scientist, could be next politician of the world, any person. The third intention is by providing timely stimulation during early age, we can make permanent difference in child's intellectual, behavioral, and emotional development. Could you see that? Was this intention met? Could you see that difference? Thank you. Thank you for the responses. To the parents who use this program, thank you. Thank you for the responses. Do you see that by using a planned program, fulfilling your dream future is a done deal? And this parent, I want you to actually experience it. पहले इस्तेमाल करो, फिर विश्वास करो. Have that planned stimulation for your baby, and you see the difference, the magic. So it will be 4-year, 5-year, 3-year, 2-year. That's the age when the pruning process would have happened, not have happened, but the grasping ability is still high. And catch it. We're not going to get this childhood again ever in the life. The ability which is lost forever. And when it's gained, we have an opportunity to grow it, enhance it, and have it like multiple times. So friends, before I thank and acknowledge you all, I'm to open this platform for questions. Any questions on whatever we covered till now? Or in the area of a child's brain development? Yes, Manu. Manu, you can unmute and ask.
Yeah, ma'am. So, maximum how many flashcards can we show for a child who is of 2.5 years of age?
So, the attention span. So when we show cards at a flashing speed, it increases the attention, concentration, and focus of the child. You have to gauge what ability your child has right now. He's sitting for 10 cards, 20 cards, 30 cards, and whatever it is, you can elevate and go till 800 cards a day.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, Charmin.
Hi, I want to know about your flashcards on the flags, the different countries, and why is it relevant? Why is it important for a child to learn about flags and different countries? And what was your idea when you had like a life skill program? So there was a certain idea to why flags and why not something else?
Awesome question, Charmin. Thank you for asking this. I know when you talk about the idea, that's the root where we started. That's the source of the program. When you see flags, they're rectangle. Each and every flag is just rectangle. The differences in the shape, inner shape, or the colors. Now, for a child to grasp the difference between two colors, the way the colors are, the positioning, that requires a high level of alertness, the attention, the observation skill. And all the skills are such skills that when we sharpen them, when we provide a proper exposure, they become fabulous. I mean, they're more sharp as we give an exposure to. No, it's the same thing. Like a child who was born could recognize mother by her smell, isn't it? The same child at the age of 3 years can't. We can't recognize people by the smell, isn't it? But a blind man can. Can not only just recognize people by the smell, but even things, even recognize color by smell. So there's a human ability. When we explore it, when we enhance it, we can actually encash it. So the basic thought behind World Country Flags flashcards, having those images which are rectangle, is to develop the attention span, the observation skill, concentration, and focus of the child in a way that it's available for the entire life.
Oh, that's very interesting. And how, what's the appropriate age again? Because you can't do everything, you know, you have to like finish one and then do the other and then do other. So again, I'm going back to the same thing. Like, what's the order of importance and order of going about? Now that he's 2.5 till 5 or whatever the age, because your dots and numbers is still from 2 to 7, and on the box it says 2 to 7.
The fun with dots and numbers starts from 3 months itself.
Yeah, I know it is, but it that is there. But also on the box that came, it says it's up till 7.
Yes, up till 7 years, because the 5th stage in fun with dots and numbers is like very high level of thinking, where there are 3 layers and 4 layers where the child will do the equations.
Right.
It would be in, the numbers would be in thousands and lakhs.
Right.
Yeah, so that's for the 5th stage where that outcome will be happening, and the lower stage we can start with 3 months. In the same way with the World Country Flags, the two different perspectives. If a parent who's not used any stimulation as in the start, you can start with few picture cards and then go with World Country Flags at the age of 9 months. And if you started with early brain stimulation program, the first 3 sets of thinking stimulation you have done, immediately after you complete 4th set, you can start with World Country Flags flashcards. There's so many children who have used Hungry Brain programs, specifically the World Country Flags flashcards, and come in India Book of Records, Guinness Book of Records, or World Book of Records. We do not mention it anywhere on our website or other things because we do not want the parent to teach the child to know this and go in the rat race. But then the beauty behind it is that your child's ability goes to that level.
Okay. So in my case, what would be your suggestion?
The first
now that he's 2.5.
Life skill development program.
Okay.
Second, you have dots, fun with dots and numbers. You go slow, have little equations, but have these things done, because that's going to be the foundation for thinking for the entire life. You take any subject, mathematics is involved in it, isn't it?
Right, absolutely.
So do that, and then you come to
the
flags. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye. Yes, Sakshi.
Ma'am, my question is, ma'am, I have started this program, early learning and the dot numbers together.
Yeah.
Now, I went to my my daughter went to 6 months. Like when I finished the early learning program, because of some traveling issues, I have stopped the dot and number, and I have around between the stage 2 and 3. I have completed the dot number. I have switched to the number cards, and between the number cards, I have started the equations also. But the thing is, I have stopped because of traveling issues, and I won't be able to carry all the cards with me, and I'm the family, so I have to give the time to family, so I won't be able to concentrate properly on the cards and all. So, ma'am, can I start again after we can say a 6-month break, because I have already done the early learning program, like 18-month wala program I've done. but this gap has come between uh, I'm teaching her and the gap has come. So I don't know matlab, how to start again.
Sakshi, it's simple. Start again, just start it, do it. Record a video and send to the parent support team. If there are certain things, like if you're showing, suppose the dot cards to your child, when the child is 3 months old, child is on the bed lying, and there's hardly any movement that child would have. At the age of 10 months, child could crawl. At the age of 15, 16 months, child could walk. And at the age of 2, 3 months, child would say, no, I don't want to see. So there are various, so the process of, the age grows, the process grows, changes. So as a child grows, we have different processes in showing it. And that creativity, a parent would easily get when you're doing the program at a stretch. But when you have a break, I would recommend you start and send a video to the parent support team, and they'll guide you on how to take it ahead smoothly.
Okay. Yeah, ma'am, I have seen a major difference in her. Like, even from this card, I can say only one thing. I understand the method of teaching. It's not about the flashcard and this and this. Even for, this hungry brain really give me the patience. कि okay, not today, but someday. Okay, आज नहीं कर रही है, but she will do next week or this and this. So this actually calm me, this program. I can say actually, मतलब this, the parents कर नहीं रही है, do please do, हो नहीं रहा, क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो, that is not come in my mind. It really gives me portion. नहीं करना है, you don't have you don't want in the mood, okay, we will do tomorrow, and tomorrow she will in the mood. So this really helped me. This program actually give me a lot of patience and actually train me how to teach. Thank you for this.
My pleasure, Sakshi. And thanks for sharing this. This is the real earnings that we have, the difference that we make in your life and in life of.
Ma'am, actually, I really understand the way of teaching to, to small child to teach, not to pressurizing them. क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो, क्यों करते नहीं हो, तुमसे होता नहीं. वो scene actually I have not understand. Well, there is no link between me.
वो होगा ही नहीं लाइफ में, कभी नहीं होगा.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sakshi, you have another problem.
Yeah, ma'am. Tell me.
मेरी बच्ची को ये सब कुछ आता है, अभी मैं सिखाऊं क्या? अभी और क्या सिखाऊं?
Yeah, this is true.
The ability of the child, when it expands, you will be amazed. The kind of satisfaction that we as parents get has no words to express it, isn't it, Sakshi? Thank you. This experience is what you shared is like, you've put it in the words, but I know what you actually are experiencing is far beyond this. When you see your child wants and loves learning and wants to move ahead in life. So thank you for sharing that, Sakshi. And now I want to thank you, all of you, each one of you, to be here. You've come here, you've given your attention, your time here to understand how critical this early learning is. This is a venture that we've bought to bring a difference in humanity. The most valuable resource on this planet is human resource, the human intellect, which otherwise generally gets waste and gets waste forever. Hungry Brain has this vision where we elevate the kind of effectiveness that the child has, and the kind with the intellectual ability, and the kind of life that the child would take ahead would be his or her own choice. But that's what every family, when has a change, every child gets that stimulation, the world would be a different place altogether. That's an evolution to the mankind. So thank you for being a part of this vision, and thank you in advance for all the actions that you take for making a difference, bringing a difference in your child's intellect. I'll just answer 2 or 3 people who raised their hands. I did not see your name, and then we disperse for the day. Yeah. Someone who raised the hands?
मैम.
Yes, शीतल.
हिंदी में बात कर सकती हूँ?
और हिंदी में बात कर सकते हैं.
मैम, मेरे बच्चे का ना अर्ली ब्रेन स्टिमुलेशन प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, तो मैं उसको फोन विद डॉट्स का ले सकती हूँ?
यस, ले सकते हैं।
और वो कब से स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं फिर?
3 मंथ्स के ऊपर की एज पे स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। अभी क्या एज है?
अभी उसका 9 मंथ चल रहा है।
बिल्कुल स्टार्ट करिए।
तो दोनों साइमल्टेनियसली कर सकते हैं हम?
यस, बिल्कुल।
और जो अभी साक्षी मैम ने बताया कि उनका अर्ली ब्रेन स्टिमुलेशन प्रोग्राम कंप्लीट हो गया है, वो उनकी बेबी शायद 6 मंथ की उन्होंने बोला, तो 6 मंथ में कैसे कंप्लीट किया, मुझे ये भी जानना था वैसे।
चाइल्ड 2 साल के ऊपर है।
ओके 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 ओके।
या
हाँ, क्योंकि वो 18 मंथ्स का है ना वो पूरा प्रोग्राम, तो हम अभी जो उसका 3 मंथ्स का हो गया है, पहला 3 सेट्स कंप्लीट हो गए मेरे बेटी के, तो अगर हम बीच में उसको दिखा सकते हैं क्या वो कार्ड्स, अगर रिपीटेडली उसको अगर देखना है तो हम दिखा सकते हैं क्या?
यस यस,
दिखा सकते हैं ना, उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं ना ऐसे, मतलब कि अभी पहले दिखाया है तो बाद में नहीं दिखाने का ऐसे?
बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं,
ओके
कोई
ओके।
प्रॉब्लम नहीं। रादर चाइल्ड विल लव, उसे मजा आएगी देखने के लिए।
और मुझे और एक पूछना था कि मैंने पहले एक दिन में हम कितने कार्ड्स दिखा सकते हैं बेबी को?
तो ये जो प्रोग्राम के अंदर जो स्ट्रक्चर दिया हुआ है उतना उतना तो आप दिखाइए ही, और फिर आपको जितना एक्सपांड करना है आप कर सकते हैं। जैसे 12 की जगह 14 कर लीजिए, एक वीडियो पेरेंट सपोर्ट टीम को भेज लीजिए, और फिर आप इंक्रीज करिए, आपको जो स्पीड पे इंक्रीज करना हो वो।
हाँ नहीं, मैंने भेजा है, मेरे मतलब जो है अस्मिता मैम, मैंने उनको एक वीडियो भेजा है मतलब बच्ची का। और जो मेरा एक बड़ा बेटा है 4.8 ईयर्स ओल्ड का, तो उसके जो बुक्स है मतलब एनिमल्स के है, व्हीकल्स, प्लांट्स, ऐसे अलग अलग, तो वो बुक्स दिखा सकती हूँ क्या मैं मेरे बेबी को?
यस यस, कर सकते हैं, कोई इशू नहीं है।
ओके ओके, थैंक यू मैम।
वेलकम। यस, पृथ्विका।
Hello, ma'am.
हेलो।
Ma'am, brain development means there should be a overall development like sensory, auditory development and all. Will this program helps to help development of all those things, ma'am?
Yes, it will. It will. It will develop all the senses, and it will help the overall development of the child, including senses, memory, thinking, understanding, and responding in various areas.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, Manu.
Yeah, ma'am. So, I have already taken your dots and numbers program. So, I have a doubt. Like, can I show her, show my baby, picture cards along with dots and numbers, or should there be some gap in between those two?
No, together is fine. Perfectly.
Okay, okay. Because yeah, altogether 25 picture cards I'm showing her and 10 word cards. And can I add these 10 dot cards as well at once?
Yes, you can. You can.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure. Any questions?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, Deepa.
Yeah, day before yesterday only I got a 6 set of cards from your side. So I have 2 kids. First kid is 5 years old, and second kid is, I just know, I told 3 months she is. So can I use the method of showing the cards both the child same?
Yes, you can use the same method. Just send a video, because the way the child would respond, those would be like some, I would say, cues. Okay, how अगर child को कुछ change करना, कुछ method अलग करना है तो वो बताएंगे. But then you as a parent may not be able to understand it appropriately. We would decode it for you. So you could just send us the video and take it ahead. But yeah, you can show it with both. And as Sakshi shared, you will gradually understand what learning methods and patterns you need to have, or you can have.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome, Deepa. Pratika shared, Manu shared. Any other one? Okay, friends. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for asking your questions, and thank you for taking the step ahead for your child's growth. Enjoy parenting. Oh, Sakshi, one more question. Yeah, please. Sakshi, is there a question? You've raised your hand, or is it just Okay, it was there. Okay, friends. Bye.